Robert Joseph MacCready appears to be a rather one-dimensional character. You first meet him in the VIP lounge of the third rail, but actually, he's a multi-dimensional character. And actually, you first meet him in Little Lamplight of Fallout 3. That's right, Robert Joseph MacCready is the very same Mayor MacCready from Fallout 3. In Fallout 3, MacCready appears as a young boy wearing an army helmet and wearing a bunch of military gear. He is the mayor of a town called Little Lamplight. This is a town comprised entirely of children, and they live safe and sound in a cave. MacCready is a no-nonsense kind of guy, even as a child.
I'm MacCready. I run Little Lamplight because they made me the mayor, and I don't like strangers or mungos. Look, I don't just let any bitch into my town, and I'm taking a risk making an exception for you. So you're welcome in my town, at least until you start screwing up. Once that bullshit starts, you're out on your own again. Any kid can say they want to be mayor here. It's just that most don't want to bother with the responsibility of leading. Of course, I've kept this place going strong for 3 years. To most kids, that makes me mayor for fucking life. Fine by me, I say.
The way MacCready became mayor of Little Lamplight is a funny story. A girl in the town convinced everyone to vote her to become the mayor. As soon as they did, she demanded that they all call her princess, and she started to make difficult demands. MacCready stood up, punched her in the face, and appointed himself mayor of Little Lamplight. This childhood moment tells us a lot about MacCready's character. He may be a foul-mouthed, no-nonsense kind of guy, but even at his worst, he hates incompetence, and he hates it when people abuse power and leadership. MacCready's closest friend in Little Lamplight is a girl named Lucy. She's the town's doctor. She's kind of appointed herself to be the mother of the outfit.
I'm Lucy, and I'm the closest thing we've got to a doctor around here. If you get yourself into trouble, see if you can drag yourself back here.
She tends wounds, and she became close with MacCready when MacCready injured himself when the cave partially collapsed. She nursed him back to health, and she sort of treated him like a little pet project ever since. MacCready as a child is rash and bullheaded, but she tempers a lot of his impetuousness. 10 years later, we meet MacCready in the VIP section of the third rail in Goodneighbor. In some ways, he's the same person. Like the MacCready we know from Fallout 3, the MacCready of Fallout 4 has a silly sense of humor. Both the child and the adult make really silly jokes.
Yeah, I'll bet you've heard all about the fungus in my cavern.
Hey, have you heard this one? It's about the super mutant who wondered why a rock kept getting bigger. Then it hit him. No? It's quiet out here. Too quiet. Oh man, I always wanted to say that.
MacCready's a treasure trove of references to Fallout 3. He's a great companion to take with you if you'd like some nostalgia about the Capital Wastelands.
I've got to be honest with you. I feel more comfortable with a rocky ceiling above my head.
But as he has matured, his personality has evolved. His life in the Commonwealth is very different. In the Commonwealth, he's a mercenary. Specifically, he's a former gunner mercenary. He worked with the gunners for years until he finally decided to leave.
I've been doing this since I was a kid. I know my way around.
Never heard of the Gunners. Who are they?
One of the biggest gangs in the Commonwealth. Got a rep for being crazy. You know, so tightly wound you'd think they were a cult or something. Stuck with them for a while because the money was good, but I never fit in. That's why I made a clean break and started flying solo.
Now, at first, it sounds like MacCready left the Gunners because he didn't like the military structure they had going on there. He didn't like taking orders, and he just didn't fit in with the chain of command. But once we delve deeper, we get the idea that MacCready might have left the Gunners for more ethical reasons. You see, MacCready married a woman named Lucy.
When I left the Capital Wasteland, I didn't just leave Little Lamplight behind. I left my family behind. Had a beautiful wife named Lucy, and a son we named Duncan.
Now, I know what you're thinking, is this the same Lucy from Little Lamplight? At first I thought so, but no, it's actually a completely different Lucy. Perhaps it's no coincidence that he ended up marrying a woman named Lucy. After all, the little girl Lucy at Little Lamplight was sort of a balancing factor in his life. She restrained some of his more impetuous impulses. Maybe he really missed that counterbalance in his life. And when he met this new Lucy for the first time, he thought that maybe he could have found that in her. Maybe he eventually saw that counterbalancing force within her, which is why he ended up marrying her. When you maximize affinity with MacCready, he tells you that he never told his wife Lucy that he was a gunner mercenary, and instead told her that he was a soldier.
I told her I was a soldier, and she made it for me. Never could bring myself to tell her the truth. That I was just a hired killer. And the soldier story was the best thing I could come up with. I didn't want to lose her because of what I was.
This tells me that he is ashamed of what he did. Now we know how the Gunners act. We've been doing a series of videos on the Gunners, and they are ruthless. They don't care about people. They burn settlers in bonfires in the middle of town. How many atrocities did MacCready take part in? How many innocent people did he kill personally? Until he finally couldn't stand it anymore. Until the thought of his wife finding out caused him enough shame to leave the Gunners for good. We don't really know. But in some of his idle conversation, he does admit that in the past he has taken life frivolously.
I'd kill for a drink. Come to think of it, I have.
We don't know any more to this story. Did he really kill a person over a drink? Was he drunk at the time, high on chems? Or was the person he killed maybe belligerent? We don't really know. But this murderous gunner behavior is definitely part of his past, and he is ashamed of it. The great tragedy of this is that he never got to tell his wife the truth. He tells us what happened in his own words.
She ever find out the truth?
No. It doesn't really matter anymore. She died a few years back. We made the mistake of holing up in a metro station one night. We didn't know that the place was infested with ferals. They were on her before I could even fire a shot. Ripped her apart right in front of me. There was nothing I could do. Took everything I had to escape with Duncan in my arms. Maybe it would have been better if we'd died there with her.
Can you imagine what it must have been like to watch the love of your life be devoured by ghouls? To live the rest of your life knowing that you never told your wife the truth? That she never really knew who you were? You can confront MacCready about this, and he gets rather hostile.
I can't believe you'd lie to your own wife like that.
Sorry you feel that way. Wouldn't have been the first time I've made a mistake.
And this is something interesting about MacCready that we see in both incarnations of the man, both when he was a boy and an adult. He has a fiery temper, and this usually comes out when he is being disrespected.
No. You know what? You can go take a hike, you insane mutant fucker. Get out of my town.
Why not just kill them and be done with it?
If it was that simple, I would have done it already.
He's quick to let you know when you've offended him. He's quick to let you know when you've been rude.
This is making me kind of uncomfortable.
Wouldn't have killed you to say something nicer there, but I suppose it isn't your fault.
But he's not a hypocrite. He's actually a rather polite guy. When he talks to people whom he respects, he treats them with respect, and he expects respect in return.
All right, Deacon. I guess it's your turn. Stay safe.
Appreciate that, MacCready. You do the same.
All right, Strong. Looks like it's your turn, my massive, mutated friend.
Goodbye, MacCready. This human good fighter. Almost as good as Strong.
Thanks, Strong. Going from someone like you, that's a pretty big compliment.
Time to hit the road.
I knew you couldn't live without me.
MacCready, huh? That's a hell of a gun to have at your back.
I aim to please.
He has great admiration for Mayor Hancock.
Hancock! That was the coolest ghoul in the Commonwealth.
Hey, MacCready. Don't wait up.
As well he should. It was Mayor Hancock who allowed him to set up shop in Goodneighbor as a mercenary.
I needed somewhere to hang out so that people could find me when they required my services. The folks in Goodneighbor tended to not ask too many questions, which suited my needs. So, I made a deal with Hancock and started waiting for the caps to roll in.
And as a former mayor himself, I think he's impressed by the show of strength that Mayor Hancock often shows. When you first walk into Goodneighbor, Hancock murders a man who challenges his authority.
You hand over everything you got in them pockets, or accidents start happening to you. Big, bloody accidents.
You lay off that extortion crap.
What do you care? She ain't one of us.
No love for your mayor, Finn? I said let her go.
You soft, Hancock. You keep letting outsiders walk all over us. One day, there'll be a new mayor.
Come on, man. This is me we're talking about. Let me tell you something. Why'd you have to go and say that, huh? Breaking my heart over here. You alright, sister?
You killed him.
Got a good pair of eyes on ya. I think you'll fit in here. Good neighbors of the people, for the people. You feel me? Everyone's welcome.
But Hancock doesn't do this because he's greedy or because he's hoarding power. He does this because he wants Goodneighbor to be a safe haven for the world's rejects. Kind of like Little Lamplight was a safe haven for lost children. You see, MacCready empathizes with what he knows. And this is a distinctive quality of MacCready's personality. He likes it when you steal because he thinks it's important that you look out for yourself. And he likes it when you intimidate people to get a better deal for selling your services. He acts this way because he has personal experience with needing caps. At first glance, it may seem like mere materialism.
Caps are pretty important.
You're goddamn right they are. Right now, I need every cap I can get. It's those two those two idiots you saw me talking to at the third rail. Winlock and Barnes. They've been hounding me for months, and it's been driving off clients. No one wants to touch me once they learn I used to run with the Gunners. And I figured if I could get enough caps together, maybe I could buy them out.
But MacCready has a clear need for the caps. He needs to get the Gunners off of his back, and he thinks that he can pay them off, that by getting as many caps as he can secure his own freedom again. And when that doesn't work, he likes a show of force. This is why he solicits your help to confront Winlock and Barnes.
Maybe you and I could pay them a little visit and put an end to them before they realize what's going on.
At the Mass Pike interchange.
This should send a message to the Gunners to stay off my back.
I'm sure they heard you loud and clear.
Definitely.
You see, these are all character qualities that he's familiar with, that he understands, and that's one of the reasons why he really likes Hancock. Another reason that he loves Caps is because Caps gives him the ability to repay his debts. This goes back to him being a very polite and respectful individual. He has been used in the past, and he's been disrespected his entire life.
Truth is, I haven't been able to rely on anyone since I was a kid. Everyone I've met has either tried to rip me off or plant a knife in my back.
He knows what it's like to be used and disrespected, so he chooses not to do that to other people, and he dislikes it when other people are disrespectful. Out of an abundance of politeness, he's constantly reminding himself how much he owes you. After every good turn that you give to MacCready, he is so grateful and so thankful that he wants to pay you back.
Anyway, I guess I owe you a favor now. After all, you hired me, but I'm the one that dragged you out here.
A favor, huh? Can I decide later?
Well, I don't like these things hanging over my head.
You don't owe me. You clearly needed the help.
Sure, but I like everything to remain nice and even. And you're one up on me.
He also doesn't like owing favors. Owing favors makes you vulnerable. It means someone can come back at any time and expect something from you. Expect something from you that you may find ethically unpleasing. This may go back to his history with the Gunners. By allowing him to join their ranks, he now owes them something. And they probably asked him to do quite a few things that made him very uncomfortable. But one thing MacCready has never really had is a friend. That's why he approaches every encounter he has with you like a transaction. He's not really seeing you as a friend, he's seeing you as a business partner.
This is a friendship, not a business contract.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know how I'll ever be able to pay you back for this. I owe you big time.
You still worried about balancing the books?
Always.
I don't know, you're already running quite a tab.
I know I am. Even if it takes me the rest of my life. I'll repay this debt to you. I swear it.
He feels like he owes you because he doesn't want to be in debt. It's only after repeatedly helping him, and not really asking for anything in return, that he begins to trust you, and he begins to understand what it is to be a friend. Friends do things for each other just because they love and respect each other. And that respect means the world to him. And at the end, he finally gets it. When you maximize affinity with him, he again brings up the debt that he owes you, but he repays it with something surprising.
What's on your mind?
This has been nagging at me for a while. I've been waiting for the right moment to talk to you, and I suppose this is as good a time as any. After helping me get Duncan's cure for MedTech, I figured I owe you something. And I always pay my debts. Here, I wanted you to have this. I know a carved toy soldier is a strange reward for risking your life, but this one's special. It means a lot to me.
If it's special to you, then it's a thoughtful gift. Thank you.
You're welcome. Just be sure you don't lose it. My wife Lucy gave this to me right after we met.
This wooden soldier isn't valuable. It doesn't have any intrinsic value. And any sane person who really wanted to be repaid by MacCready would not accept this. They would throw it back into his face and say, "Where's my real payment?" He understands that you won't do that. He understands that you see the value in this. This is a personal memory for him. It has value only because MacCready values it. He finally understands that friendship isn't a tit-for-tat relationship, that he doesn't have to settle his books with his friends. He gives this toy to you because he respects you, and he knows that you'll find value in it because you respect him, and that means the world to him. But this character trait does have its limitations. It limits MacCready's maturity as an adult. If you're only able to empathize with people whom you understand based on your own personal experiences, this leaves open a wide range of people whom you can't respect. We see this when he talks to robots. He's not terribly fond of Codsworth, and he's a little bit skeptical and even scared of Valentine. And this comes out with passive-aggressive joking.
Right. Damn, I forgot to pick up that motor oil for you, Valentine.
Cute, MacCready. You come up with that all on your own?
Mr. MacCready, please take care of my master. If harm should befall him, I would be most disappointed.
Quit worrying, Codsworth. You're going to blow a fuse or something.
I know your reputation, MacCready. I'm confident you can handle whatever threats you encounter.
Yeah. Thanks, I guess.
Now, women apparently find MacCready attractive. I don't get this as a guy. He kind of looks a little weaselly to me. But many of the women in your company find him alluring.
Well, hey there, handsome. Watch this gal for me, will ya? She loves to get herself into trouble.
For you, Kate, I'd do anything.
Curie is the best. She gets all flustered when MacCready gets near.
Well, Curie, I guess you're up. Have fun out there.
Mon Dieu! Always so polite. Au revoir to you, MacCready. Do you have any new injuries for me to treat today, Monsieur MacCready?
Feeling fine, thanks. But if a couple of stim packs fall my way, I wouldn't object.
You see, it's that politeness of MacCready that Curie finds so attractive. So attractive that she even volunteers her medical services to give him an inspection for free. She just can't help but being a little curious about MacCready. The only female in your company who appears to be immune to MacCready's charms is Piper, and that's because she's rather principled.
Ew.
So, when are we going to have that one-on-one interview, Piper?
MacCready, never in a million years. Maybe just try not to get each other killed out there?
Getting us killed is the farthest thing from my mind, Angel.
He may be an attractive bloke, but the fact that he's a hired gun, that he kills people for money, that insults her ethics, and it rubs her the wrong way. And it's the same story with many of the other principled characters in your party. Characters who are not privy to MacCready's personal thoughts like you are, and who don't know the many layers that make up MacCready, who might not know that he's changed.
I'm not sure why you'd want to travel with this insubordinate civilian, but it's your decision.
Yeah. Sorry, Dance, I couldn't hear you over all that clanking.
So, this is the sort you're taking up with now?
Yeah, and who could blame her?
Still killing people for caps, MacCready?
I don't know. You still pretending to be anyone but yourself?
He may be a hired gun, but he doesn't kill just anyone for money, not like the gunners do. Now, we know that MacCready came from the Capital Wasteland. That's where we first met him. And we also know that he likely owns property out there. We learned this when he talks about his son.
My son, he's sick. I don't know what's wrong with him. One day he's playing out in the fields behind our farm. The next he took a fever and these blue boils popped up all over his body. Last I saw, he was almost too weak to walk. I didn't dare ask him to come with me. Honestly, I don't know how much longer he's going to last.
His son got sick on his farm. He met his wife while a gunner mercenary. He refused to tell her that he was a mercenary and instead said that he was a soldier. And yet they owned property where he had a home and a farm, which was likely in the Capital Wasteland, because that's where his son got sick. Now, I did an entire video about MacCready's personal quest where we go to get the medicine to save his son. So I won't cover that here. If you'd like to watch that video, you can watch it by clicking here. But if you do MacCready's personal quest and you find the cure for MacCready's son, you can go back to Daisy and Goodneighbor, and she says that she'll send it on off to the homestead.
I'll get the sample on the first caravan leaving the Commonwealth. The driver owes me a few favors, and he's reliable. It will arrive at your homestead in no time, MacCready.
Thanks. You're a doll.
We know that he and his wife were in the Commonwealth together at some time. If you go to the Dugout Inn with MacCready, Vadim will have a conversation with him and talk about how he remembers Lucy. But he doesn't know that Lucy has since been killed.
Oh man, I love this place. Vadim is a character. Vadim! Still killing people with your moonshine?
MacCready! It's good to see you, Tavarish. How is Lucy? She's still as beautiful as I remember?
No. She didn't make it, Vadim.
I'm sorry. Mouth tends to be faster than brain. Tell you what, I give you a drink on the house. For old times.
Thanks. You're always a real stand-up kind of guy, Vadim. Well, let's drink.
I think what may have happened is that MacCready left the Capital Wasteland and came to the Commonwealth, where he became a gunner and worked as a mercenary. He then met Lucy, told her about being a soldier, but the shame of his job finally got to him, and he couldn't work for the gunners anymore. So he and his wife pack up and move back to the Capital Wastelands, where he founded some land, created a home, and worked a farm. But for some reason, they found themselves in a metro station. All three of them, because as the ghouls were feasting upon the corpse of his wife, he managed to flee with his son. He went back home, only for his son to get this strange illness, and then he left, maybe leaving his son in the capable hands of a trusted friend, to head back to the Commonwealth to find the cure. He didn't want to be here because he knew that he would be encroaching upon gunner territory.
In case you forgot, I left the gunners for good.
Yeah, I heard. But you're still taking jobs in the Commonwealth. That isn't going to work for us.
I don't take orders from you. Not anymore.
Are you always this suspicious?
Hey, you approached me. And frankly, I'm taking a huge risk being out here in the Commonwealth in the first place. So I'm not about to leave anything to chance.
Hold on. What kind of risk are you talking about?
I already told you way too much. I need to learn to keep my big mouth shut.
But he had to come back for his son, and he's not one to give up hope. His fiery temper comes back out at even the thought of abandoning his son.
Maybe you should find a doctor.
Every doctor I've talked to is worthless. They never even heard of the disease.
Maybe there's nothing you can do, but go home and let it run its course.
No, I can't accept that. There's no way I'd ever give up on him.
Now, I don't think MacCready is really looking for love. He's still getting over the death of his wife, Lucy, and he's solely focused on finding the cure for his son. But he's never had a friend like you before. Someone who's polite to him, who treats him with respect. Someone who shows him kindness without expecting anything in return. That's why he gave you that trinket that meant so much to him personally. And that's why, if you initiate it, he is receptive to romance.
I was hoping what we have together could be more than friendship.
I don't know. I mean, I never thought of us that way.
And if you think about it, based on your life experiences, both MacCready and the sole survivor have so much in common. Both of you lost your spouse in horribly violent ways, and both of you are trying to save your son.
Wait, what about your husband? I know he's gone, but you still love him, don't you?
You're right. I still miss him. I don't know what I was thinking.
Believe me, I understand exactly how you're feeling right now.
Would it bother you if I still love him?
I don't know. I mean, we're two sides of the same coin, right? It's true, I miss Lucy to death. But at some point we have to move on, don't you think?
It might be difficult for me, but I think I can make our relationship work.
I can't believe you feel this way about me. I know I was taking a chance dumping all my feelings on the table. But now that I know how you really feel about me, it was definitely worth the risk. For once in my life, everything's going right, and I have you to thank for it. I don't think anyone in the world could ask for a greater gift than that. Thank you.
After romancing MacCready, at first he kind of treats it frivolously.
I'll never get tired of this. I'm having too much fun.
He's just living in the moment. But over time, the more you run with him, and as you remain faithful to him, he begins to see it as a long-term relationship.
The day you told me that you loved me was the greatest day of my life. I plan on walking this earth with you until the day I die.
And that makes him so happy.
Happy. For the first time in my life, I'm happy. Can you believe it?
All in all, MacCready is far from being a one-dimensional character. He's a nuanced character, with a backstory spanning 2 different games. His view of morality and ethics is molded by the world around him. He's a very practical man. He likes working hard for caps and even being intimidating to get them, but he hates rudeness. He hates disrespect, and he stands up for the weak, especially for children.
What did MacCready do to help you out?
Running a business in a town like Goodneighbor is a challenge. Let's just say I've had my share of unfriendly customers, and MacCready's been there to help me handle the situation. Hey, do me a favor. Take care of MacCready for me. He's one of the good ones.
He doesn't have a very sophisticated personal philosophy. He doesn't really take to causes, which is why he thinks the Minutemen are foolish.
Good luck out there, MacCready.
Still wasting your time trying to save the world, huh, Garvey?
But he knows what he's lived. He knows how to treat people right. And if you treat him right, he can become a loyal and faithful companion for you, and you can become a new source of joy in his tragic life that he never expected, but deeply cherishes.
I'll never forget what you've done. You saved me. From myself.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the full story of MacCready, a one-time mayor and former gunner mercenary, and an all-around interesting fellow to know. What are your thoughts on MacCready? Do you like the fact that Bethesda brought MacCready back from Fallout 3 and give him such a prominent role here in Fallout 4? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I read all of your comments, and I use your comments as inspiration for my future videos. MacCready's profile is another video in my series on the Gunners Mercenary faction. So if you want to make sure that you don't miss a video in that series, be sure to subscribe and click that little notification bell icon to become notified when I publish my next video. And if you're interested in checking out my t-shirt shop, you can find a link to my Teespring t-shirt shop in the description below, where I sell Oxhorn and Fallout 4 themed t-shirts with some of your favorite images and quotes. And if you like what I do and you want to support me in a more personal way, consider becoming one of my patrons on Patreon. Patreon subscribers get access to a private channel on my Discord server, as well as a bunch of other cool Oxhorn perks. But more than anything, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just so glad that you're here watching this video today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early, with a brand new video.
Have fun with this junkie. I have no idea what